Volume looks quiet but audible. Turn it down a little bit on my side though. I was playing Remy just today. I was fighting Everdread. Longtime fans of the Shen might remember him. He invited me to a game. It's been a little while since I played Third Strike, so I was rusty. I lost more than I won. I guess Remy, no less. Remy's one of our easiest matchups. It's like a 6.5, 3.5, my humble opinion. Although I will accept it's 0.5 better or worse. He had some neat tactics that I haven't really seen. One thing he would do is he would wake up with low short and then cancel it into like a flash kick or a super. And the idea is if he whiffed the low short, nothing would happen. There was probably a juggle there. If he whiffed the low short, nothing would happen. But if he, so like if he got counter hit, he would, that would be that. But if he hit a backdash with it, or if he hit like a meaty or something like that, Remy's low short's a pretty fast normal. He would get a cancel. I think all versions of that little cold blue kick are minus, but if you EX flash kick immediately afterwards, of course you can. Look at that, penis. That's probably accidental from Alex's part, that dash. Slash elbow, that is. Because he just got crossed up. It's really easy to do that on accident. I always have to be really mindful that whenever I get crossed up, I can't immediately hit a punch because I'll often throw a fireball. So I usually do medium kick as Oro. You have to be really careful about that if you're. Most characters don't have a charge back punch and a charge back kick. In fact, I don't think there's anyone who does. Every character has one or the other. No, Q has both. He's the only one. Very nice. Hi everyone. It's been a little while since I streamed. I've been working a lot on Game Maker. I finally started making some headway in the game I want to make. It's a foreseeable event in the future that I'm going to have a demo ready. I've been doing a lot of work besides just what's going to be in the demo though. I now believe that the entire project is something that I could do. He had a flash kick juggle there, whereas previously I wasn't sure if I was able to do it or not. And now the fact that I could do it by myself just has me wondering, like, why haven't I? Now the ball's in my court. Instead of being in no one's court. And I can chalk this up to another one of the many times that I've let uncertainty of the possibility of something prevent me from ever actually doing it. Like editing used to be. Look at that link! He didn't get the cancel though. He got stand strong, stand short, and then he did an EX Rekka not cancelled from stand short. You can kind of just cancel into EX Rekka, it's not super risky. Even if you get parried, you can do another EX Rekka to fuck up their parry, so it takes an elaborate parry. Yeah, I wish I started a year ago, because I had the idea for it about a year ago. The earliest video I have talking about it is like over a year old now. Which really made me realize it's like, well, I haven't done anything about this in a year. At this rate, I'm going to not do anything about it in 10 years. It's not going to be a super long game. I'm just going to keep on making levels until I run out of ideas. So it's probably not going to be... I don't know, I have no idea how many levels are actually going to be in the game. I have a pretty good idea of most of the mechanics that are going to be in the game. All the movement mechanics, I think. Programming the movement, I've actually got some nice stuff. I could maybe show it off. I'm just using... I don't have any sprite work done yet. I'm just using a Prince spread I found on Google. The Prince from Prince of Persia. But eventually I won't be able to do that anymore because he can't do all the things that I'm going to want to be able to do. Anyway, I didn't come here to fucking talk about that. I should, like, it would be nice to have, like, a series of videos about that. Series of me. He just had a Gene! What the fuck? Time out, go back. That's not fair. Whoa, I maximized it. How did that look? What was that like for you guys? Probably just looked weird. Because it's monitor capture from the game. Hold on, where's the... Gene runs out here. What happens between it running out and... He doesn't even get an ender. Block string into shoulder. Tiny juggle. One whiff low strong. Oh, it's because that hit, it got him a lot of extra. Duh. But still. It seemed like that was pretty quick between them, considering he had very little actual, like, meter building. There we go, I was just making sure I was still moused over the screen so I could skip seconds. I've always prided myself a little bit on the fact that I can actually, like, do something, which a lot of people seem to struggle with. So it's important to me that I actually do this since it's something I want to do. That cold blue kick has a fantastic hitbox. It also tends to beat all the stuff. It like has. It's hard to do a normal that beats cold blue kick coming in, if you know what I mean. It's like all hitbox. Type on loop. Oh, he. Does that juggle? He's over. I blocked that today and I tried to parry and I missed it. I'm pretty sure it's a blue parry, especially on Oro's tiny crouching hard box. Tried to parry the third rep and I just dropped it. MK11 looks pretty good. I heard someone say there's no breaks. I saw that you've got the reversal, you've got the defensive meter, but are breakers also gone? I have mixed feelings on that. I guess overall I like it. I don't know. It depends on how the flow of the game. Whether I like breakers or not is entirely based on whether the game's flow is good or not. It depends on how blockable stuff is. In Street Fighter, most things are generally blockable. You know what I mean? The mix-ups are few and far between. But in games where the mix-ups are really bullshit, a breaker is actually very welcome. So we'll see. The mix-ups have generally been a little bullshit in Mortal Kombat games, although I wouldn't call them extraordinarily so. They often seem really bullshit to the layman, and for some characters they are. Like, Reptile has a pretty unreactable overhead. But a lot of characters have an unreactable low but a reactable overhead, or vice versa. Or the characters who have an unreactable low and an unreactable overhead, like Liu Kang, the overhead won't lead to very much. Stuff like that. So it's like kind of fair. Yeah, they are unreactable if he's invisible. Any character who can turn invisible has unreactable overheads. Like Smoke. I thought invisibility was a meme for some reason in MK9 era, but to be honest, it's pretty good. It's weird because I know invisibility is actually not too bad in this game because I fought 12s who taunt, and it is pretty good. It's annoying. It's annoying to fight a 12 who's invisible. And 12 doesn't even have a standing overhead. He's got to fucking glide all the way over to you. Nice Elena play. The thing is, MK10, MKX, has two universal lows in light, down 3 and down 4. And those cannot combo. It's in their programming. Like, it's literally in the programming of down 3 and down 4 that even if the opponent's still in hit stun, they're not in a comboable state. That's a flag in Mortal Kombat. The opponent has to not only get hit while they're still reeling, but also be in a state where a combo is possible. There are a lot of situations where they're still reeling, like Nut Punch from Johnny Cage, where they're still reeling, but they can block. Because that flag isn't on. It seems really strange. It seems arbitrary, but it actually works really nicely for the gameplay. Because it gives Johnny Cage, for example, or any other character who has it, it gives them, like, guaranteed pressure without the fear of, like, a wake-up attack. It's good for resets. Ooh. Wake up low from that far away is brave. I guess it's not against Elena. I guess it's just regular against Elena. Elena plays good. This is just random fucking East versus West footage. Very modern third strike footage, but not. It's actually even newer than Co-op Cup. This shit happens once a week. Oof. That comboed. Jump hard kick has quite a lot of hit stun. MK9 has the same system as X, I believe. but it's been a while since I played it. But anyway, even if you cancel into really fast things from down 3 or down 4, it won't combo. That's why characters need like a back 3 or a back 4 or something like that as their low. Towards 3, whatever it is. It'll depend on the character. Liu Kang's towards 4 is a low. And you can cancel it and combo out of it. And it's walking. Look at this, it's hard. It's hard to fight this. Oh, he succeeded. It's hard to commit and it's hard not to commit. It's better off to not do anything, wait for him to come back. He's really not invisible for very long. And the chances of him like immediately rushing in to throw you is pretty low. But you're not risking a whole lot anyway. It's like, what's the worst thing that can happen if you poke? You'll probably get hit by a jump fierce that he won't even combo from. It's not too bad. Jump light kick? That was kind of weird. Hard kick is good in this matchup. This matchup is in general very good for Elena. She can meet in midair really easily. That was jump light kick. Most characters can't meet 12 midair very well. His like lateral attacks are better than theirs. But Elena has like a lot of air-to-air normals that are both powerful and high priority. Nice. He had to be right like 4 times in a row to get the kill there, and he was. 12's best matchup is almost certainly against Sean. I mean, who else could it be? But he also has okay-ish matchups against some of the tall motherfuckers, actually. Hugo is not horrible, but it might be in Hugo's favor. 12, I mean not 12, Q is not horrible. I think Urian is not too bad, believe it or not. Alex is okay. It's literally just all the tall guys. And then I think he also does okay against Remy. But don't quote me on that one. Hi. He gets fucked up by basically every top tier. He particularly hates Ken's Air EX Tatsu plus the entirety of Chun-Li. Really fuck him up. To the next what? Which game? Which series are we talking about here? Mortal Kombat already did that with Armageddon. They had every single playable character. The next SF. I don't know. I get that people want a lot of characters, but I'm more concerned that what I want is a game where every single Ryu versus Ken matchup is very distinct, or rather I should say every single Ryu versus Ken player. Every single Ryu player and every single Ken player are very distinct, and there's a lot of different ways to win with both characters. And so what ends up happening is Ryu versus Ken ends up being super elaborate and complex. And then it won't matter how many characters are in the game. Well, it won't matter to me. I want the characters, I want the matchup. It doesn't matter how many characters are in the game if only 2 are going to be on the screen as far as I'm concerned. Make sure the fucking 2 characters on the screen are super interesting first, and then worry about the roster. Yeah, I'm gonna back up fun on this one. Fun is also my priority. I think it's not true in SF5, but it's more true in SF5 than any other Street Fighter barring 2. That characters are played in a very samey way. It's impossible to play Ryu well without looking like other good Ryus. You know what I mean? And that's, you know, that's part of the, it's hard to make a game that's not like that. Oh. No, that's a horrible thing to have parried. I don't think that every Ryu's the same in SF5, but you know. Ryu's actually one of the characters who has more personality than some characters in the game. If you showed me a Kami, I'd have a hard time telling it from another Kami. I have to watch for a while before I could say, oh, that's an L. I think. I'd probably be wrong. I don't know what fucking martial art I'd learn. Capoeira. Then I'd dance. Because I wouldn't actually fight anyone. That jump out of the corner was... He should have been ready for that parry on that fierce. And also parry some other stuff. Just release, yeah. That jump was a bit greedy. Hugo could have shaken out of that. Safer would have been to dash forward and then do crouch fierce, but that wouldn't have killed. Sometimes greedy is the play. Woo. Aloha. Alola. I was thinking about playing some Pokemon on stream. I might yet. I've been getting that Pokemon craving. I didn't technically beat Dragon Quest VIII. I just kind of stopped once there was nothing left except the Super Boss, who I already beat once. But I would kind of like to beat him in the 8 Fight Endeavor or whatever it is, where you have to fight all his forms. I'd like to have done it. I don't really care about the reward. Oh, I know there's the... I know you can do... there's a new ending as well. Because I got that gem from the... I got the gem from the chest. That will 100% affect the ending. So I could watch the modified ending. I kind of want to be done with it. I'm tempted to just put some cheats on and fight the boss like that. I don't really care about fighting him legit. I never played 10. I don't even know much about it. I just know it's online and it was on the Wii. That's literally all I know. Pretty small list. Nice. Got the full ender. Ryu was pretty low there. That might have required the Kara. Depending on your timing for Shotos, you can need it or not. I fenced for a long time, years and years, epee. A little bit of foil too, but mostly epee. I liked epee the most because it had the fewest rolls. It's mostly just stab your opponent before they can stab you. Whereas there's right of way in foil and a much smaller... I think there's still right of way in Saber. And also there's a much smaller area that you can touch. Ew. That will enable me to rotoscope for my game, thankfully. I'm gonna get to do it several times. FA is really fun. I would probably be better than most people in a sword fight, but I do not expect I will ever get into a sword fight. There's a lot of technique to it, as you would expect. Of course, in fencing, you win like the fucking millisecond you get a touch, you know? You can get stabbed, but it can still be your point. In a real fight, you die. I'm gonna have a professional fencer in my game. Everyone else is going to be an amateur. There will be exactly one person who knows how to fence. I guess 2 technically will know how to fence. And whether the player knows how to fence or not is going to be based on the player. Whew. How sick would it be? That's like when video games are done, is when you can have real sword fights with people over the internet. That's like the thing we're building toward. And once we have it, fucking, we're gonna have everything. That's the dream. Oh, the second hit of Crouch Fierce didn't hit. You guys see that? That was sad as fuck. Why is it like that? He was right up next to Yun. Some twin hitbox fuckery. He did the medium mirror. Low medium kick didn't kill. I'm scared. Oh my god, that was a nice jump. Damn, Urian had the win if that low medium kick was a throw. It's a cute. Oh, you went for the red parry. It turns out the low slaps, the light one, is only like -4 or something. Or like -6. It's not very minus. I played Twilight Princess all the way through on the Wii, and I can say with a certainty that I would have much preferred it on the GameCube. That was a wake-up car throw. I did that too. It actually has a really high success rate because it catches shimmy. And people do shimmy in this game. It's not really true that they shimmy. Well, it is sometimes true they shimmy. It's more that they just hang out at... what a weak punish. You could have done no strong into that, I think. They hang out just outside throw range. And they're pretty good at it, people. Wow, that grabbed an overhead. That's actually airborne too, so he just got it after it stopped being airborne before it hit. So that was very lucky timing. People will be really good at it. They'll move themselves to exactly the range where they're out of range for a throw. And that's why a car throw, even if it's not a very good car throw, will often be really good. Occasional laugh. EX slaps is really minus, yeah. I can walk in and get strong on it. Close hard kick. Close medium kick. Yeah. That would have been good. He could have walked up target combo, I bet. Probably be optimal for Yun. Yun gets a slightly bigger than normal target combo against Q. Or a slightly stronger than normal combo against... He's starting from target combo against Q. Q with 3 taunts is probably like a mid-tier character. Maybe upper mid. He still sucks in neutral. He always sucks in neutral. He would definitely be a lot better. The thing is, he can easily get 3 taunts up against a lot of low-tier characters, and he struggles hard to even get 1 up against a lot of high-tier characters. I don't know if I'd call him Ryu-tier. Maybe. I was thinking more like Ibuki and Elena. I think he'd be somewhere around there. Maybe a bit better than them. He's like kind of secret good, if you know what I mean. Because he's got that high reward from parries. The fact that he can afford to risk a lot is so valuable. He can take so many gambles. And then when he gets a gamble right, he gets a lot of damage. Sometimes. Sometimes he gets a blocked stay medium kick. This is a matchup where he just wins instantly if he gets a hit. Look at that full Super 2 sitting at the bottom there. He'll probably never use that. He probably won't get the chance looking at these health bars. But, you know, he could still win. He can always win. Q could just instantly win in this matchup. He didn't, but he could. Yeah, no, Oro does that by crouching, to be honest. So does Elena, I think. Q has a hard time. There's a lot of really fucked... Oh, it was a meaty low forward! Did that make it easier to combo out of? Did that make it hit its cancel window faster? I don't know if that's how this game works. That was cool. That happened twice that round. See that close jab that whiffed? Yun didn't do anything. But it could have been punished. It's so easy to get scenarios like that in this game. And to also benefit off them if they happen to your opponent. It's very incidental. Ooh. Oh. This should kill pretty easily. He's doing optimal. I would have done optimal. He didn't need optimal. It was Yon health, and he didn't have that much health. I think the actual quality of the matchups themselves is supposed to be really good for JoJo, but the actual viable roster is supposed to be like fucking 10 characters or something if even. But like if you're playing like two like high tiers against each other, it's supposed to be really fun. It's just that there are certain characters who are busted tier who are unfun, and certain characters who are borderline useless that are also unfun. That's what I heard. I don't know that much about it. A lot of people swear by it. It looks complicated to me. Doll fighters look a lot simpler than they are. And that's a game where like most of the characters are doll fighters, right? It's kind of scary there because it could Yun can do an air TC. It's pretty good as a jump in against Hugo because he's tall. Yun often can't get jab to towards Fierce to get both hits, but Hugo, it works on crouching Hugo. That's how tall he is. It's aggravating when you jump in trying to do jump in jab into towards Fierce, the air TC, and the opponent's crouching and they get hit by the jab late, and then the towards Fierce never comes out, and then you can't combo out the jab because it's a fucking jab. I watched one of these, like a Japanese archive of someone using what's her face, Maria. I don't remember what her name is. The electric lady who could magnetize things, and I think she's supposed to be like bottom 1 or like bottom 5. She's supposed to be like a really bad character, but this one guy who was using her was absolutely killing it, and it honestly looked really fun. She looked like a super interesting and technical character. I'll juggle there off the neutral throw. I think stay medium punch is damage optimal, but it's hard to hit against most characters. You can also do stand jab and crouch strong, I think. Mortal Kombat's 5 buttons. You got 4 attack buttons plus a block button. There's actually 8 buttons, but the other 3 are shortcuts. There's the jump TC. That strikes a bit like that. Every character is built on something different for the most part, except all the Shotos. And even they're built on different supers. So you can, a 12 against someone who doesn't know how to fight 12, the 12 player will almost always win. Matchup is still more important than tier. But there's enough players of every character that most people know matchups a bit. Just because there aren't that many characters. And because like people tend to play the low tiers in this game just because they're interesting. Even the lesser played characters, like this fellow Oro. Like 12, like I was gonna say Q, but Q's not even lesser played. There's quite a lot of Q players for whatever reason. And Hugo, they're popular. Very nice. Elena sees less play than fucking Q and Hugo, and she's much better. On paper. Q and Hugo have a lot better results, but again, that might just be because they played a lot more. I actually hate like doll fighters in video games. So if that's the build of the entire game, I probably wouldn't like it too much. I'd rather do like Vampire Savior. Or something like that. Oh, shout out to Crookie. Remember him? Yeah. What is his name? It's Thanatos. The last 4 characters of his name are Thanatos. That's pretty true. It's possible to do either one. Definitely restricting 12 too much I would call that the single main reason people lose. But respecting them too little, that can work for you or against. That can never ever juggle. what he just went for. I don't know why he did it. Well, I don't know why he did that. Throwing low attacks as opposed to what? What's he got left? That's it. That's every part of 12. Are you telling me he didn't dash? Because his air dash is like the whole thing. He doesn't have a standing overhead. He's got a universal overhead. That's it. It's over. Well, that was almost... Whoa, it was cool. Yeah, that was definitely cool. Unfortunately, he had an easy free kill there, and he didn't take it. Okay. Either one is fine. 5K GGPO is better. We'll just 5K. It's a lot faster. The rematching is just slower in 30th, and there's just fewer players, and a lot of the players aren't as good. That setup, that was kind of cool. He like mistimed it or something. I don't know. I don't know if he wanted to land at that time. That was an anti-parry setup. It's kind of cute, right? That was back medium kick, which has a decent anti-air hitbox. And then in the event that he wasn't parried, or in the event that he was parried, he canceled to X just to stay safe. It hurt his Oki afterwards, so I wouldn't call it Oki, but you know, his follow-ups from the anti-air. But it made him a lot safer. I don't think 12's gameplay style is incomplete. He feels like a very composite character to me, except for the fact that everything's so unrewarding. If there's a character who feels incomplete to me, it's probably Chun-Li. But obviously, what she has works. That was a nice parry, actually. Rubber Soul. He is the stand. Kakuin yellow. This is an odd situation that doesn't happen too often. He got I think the first hit only, but then threw 12 the wrong way because of the angle he was. No, second hit only. So he didn't have anything great to do there, but he could have canceled. What? This is fucking Super 1 Oro. And then he just activated. This timer is a bit too easy to run out. And even if he gets a super, it's nowhere near as strong as his other supers. It was sort of optimal. If the stomp hit, it would have been meter build optimal, which is not too bad. 12 has no combos, yes. Even in an ideal scenario, 12 has no combos. A complete 12 combo will be something like back strong into one hit of light axe. Like dead serious. Well. Like these two low shorts, they don't go into anything. They go into super. If he has super 1, that's the only super they go into. Like really, genuinely, seriously, if you don't have super, your highest damage punish against a like parried super will be like a hard axe and mash the hits, and that'll do like 3 hits or 4. If you have super, his damage is okay. You can just do, it'll still be really short combos. It'll be something like stand strong into super. Stand forward into super. Maybe fucking if you're feeling cheeky, you can do low short light axe into super. It turns all his, or Super 1 turns all his punches into a hit grab. Oh, it's a real grab. You can't block it or anything. You can grab people in the air if you're in the air. You can grab people on the ground if you're on the ground. You cannot cancel into it. You also can't use his half circle back punch anymore. If you try to, it'll just give you the hit grab. I mean the real grab. And you can't combo into that. Losing all your punches is a bit of a nuisance. Obviously having the unblockable grab with decent range is better than all of your punches. But it does affect the way you have to play. Sora's way too many fucking characters in his name. It's Thanatos, okay? You read 12 Mania correctly, though. I mean, I could read it. It's all katakana. Basketoman. Something tree. Thanatos. I don't know this one. I don't know that character. The tree can be Moku, and it can also be Ki or Gi, and I forget its other readings. Whew. Kashi, isn't this guy Ken? I think so. Kens play Akuma and vice versa. Universal fact. Every Ken player is also an Akuma player. Every Akuma player is also a Ken player. An enormous crossover between those two characters, more so than any other pair of characters, possibly excluding Ryu. I don't know what Kashi means. It's fucking Serio. That needle was misplaced. You can already end your chicken combo in a super finisher like they'd strike. Oh, you mean like while already being activated? Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be better anyway. It should just make quarter circle forward punch. He doesn't have that. That's not the motion for anything. That'd be how it works for Q, who has that same thing on one of his supers. He has a new special move on his SA3. Two new special moves, actually. That was probably not the punish he wanted. Parry into teleport forward. But I don't know what the fuck he wanted. Very nice. In terms of how often he comes out ahead in a scenario, 12 is actually a very high tier character. It's the risk reward that's fucked up. It's the fact that nothing he does anything, and if he gets hit, he can die. 12 has less health even than other fucking low health characters. He's only above Ibuki and the twins, I think. But he's got like lower health than Chun-Li and Elena. And Makoto. Makoto has main health. Makoto's 1200. I think 12 is 1050. Whereas Oro, for example, is 1120. So even I have respectably more health than 12. I think 12 probably will never be in an SF game again, but there's a very high chance we'll get a 12-like. It might be 11. It might be 13. It might be fucking X. It might be Necro 2. I don't know. Could be anything. I think 12 will come back in spirit. Seth has like 3 things that could be called 12-ish. That's even stretching it. Name being a number. That's the main thing he has. 12's name, or Seth's name is also a number. The players can take a breather if they want to. For instant rematches. There's no rule against that. If someone tries to instantly rematch in NetherRealm, you can literally just be like, hold on. The only difference between NetherRealm is you can rematch faster, and people generally prefer to. It's a different community than Street Fighter. Street Fighter had like this movement in the middle of SF4, kind of on the late end of SF4, where it was just like, it's better to take a breather. Everyone sort of collectively decided that, and there used to be like no breathers between matches, and then all of a sudden, if anyone was unsure of how they were going to win, they would like go back to character select. Something that didn't happen at all for a long time and then started happening a lot. It's not like I'm against it. If people can go back to character select if they want to. I'm very pro their ability to do that, their right to do that. Yeah, you often will benefit from thinking about something. But you always can. To me, it's just very convenient. I don't know the rules with the realm games and fucking swapping sides. Ooh, is this stun? No. They probably did have used a super. There was probably some way into super with that. Super won't get all of its hits against a juggled opponent. It will get one or two, and it depends on your opponent and depends on how far away you are. But even one hit does quite a lot of stun. You get a juggle there maybe? I don't know. It's silly when that electricity doesn't hit. It's hard to whiff punish though. Look at that juggle. You got him? You got him. Yeah, oh. I got all excited because I thought he wasn't going to let him drop, but then he let him drop immediately. Necro's strong against a lot of characters who can't deal well with his movement. Or rather, who can't move well. That's the general, like, rule of thumb. If the opponent can't move well, Necro's good. I don't know, man. When I was playing MK9 against my friends, my casual-ass friends who can't play anything except NetherRealm games, a lot of the time, you know, once you see strikers win pose, it takes kind of a long time. And once you've seen it, you know? He throws a grenade and it explodes, and he just stands there looking all menacing and shit. Also, side note, striker kills you even if he doesn't fucking do a fatality. But you couldn't skip it in MK9, at least not initially. I think they might have eventually added that as a feature. They either added it in MK9 or Injustice. But I think it was midway through a game, it wasn't instantly. It was something that was like a feature they added on. I've seen matches, I feel like I've seen at least one match where they took a breather every single match. Made it take forever. Not that I'm really against it. I've seen stuff like that. Police brutality coming up. That's like his intro, I think. It's pretty funny. It's a funny intro. I laughed the first time I heard that. I'm kind of low-key wondering. I don't think Triborg will probably be in MK11. I'd like if he was. But I think that Smoke will probably be in MK11, like Human Smoke. And I'm kind of wondering what the hell's going on with both Human Smoke and, like, Triborg Smoke just existing. But I guess Sub-Zero and Cyber Sub-Zero both exist in MKX, so... The whole thing about Triborg is it's just the data of how they fight. But like Smoke and Human Smoke actually have like a decent number of different moves. I mean the same moves, rather. Whereas Cyber Sub-Zero is basically completely distinct from regular Sub-Zero. Cyborg is a super cool character. I think he's a really good solution to Cyrax Sector and Smoke all being fucking very non-distinct. Just remove them. Just have one character who's the function of all of them. For the record, Cyrax, Sector, and Smoke all had pretty different personalities and roles in the story. Sector ended up getting to be a Special Forces unit. I mean, Cyrax did. Sector just stayed evil. He was the only one who was, like, just, you know, evil. And the new timeline established that he's actually the kid from... He's the kid of the Grandmaster of Lingwei, which is, in my opinion, a very cool little... A cool little claim to fame. Makes him a lot more interesting than he was before. Super? Yep. Rain's chances, I feel, are not good, but I too would like him. I got a list of characters I want. I'd like if Nightwolf came back. It feels like Nightwolf finally got, like, a place in MK9. Like, he was finally someone important. He had a role in the story and shit. He's, like, one of the most forgettable MK characters, despite being one of the OGs. And he actually felt like the next guy after Liu Kang. You know what I mean? Oh, no! Tommy? I consider it pretty likely that Nightwolf will come back in MK11, just for storyline reasons. I did not see his Twitter teases. Nightwolf has really good ideas from a gameplay perspective, I think. It's kind of bullshit that it turns out that fucking Johnny Cage is the one powered up by Native American spirits or some nonsense. Fuck you, what about Nightwolf? Best MK game is, like, without a doubt X. The only other remotely good MK games are 3 and 9, if you're talking about competitive. And if you're talking about just fun, then it's probably like Deception. I don't know. MK2 is pretty fun as well, I guess. 1 is jank, but it's like it's not surprising that it's jank because it's so old. Oh, Nightwolf. I don't remember Johnny Cage's lore. I'm okay that he has it. I don't give a fuck. A lot of people didn't like that. It's like Johnny Cage shouldn't have... Johnny Cage shouldn't have a reason for his excellence, basically. Damn, I thought Scarlet wouldn't come back, I can't lie. Seems ridiculous to me, but whatever. She looks cool. Liu Kang's list of achievements is pretty nice. The meter system looks fun. Liu Kang beats Goro. That's not my mouse! I tried to move it, but it's not my mouse. Liu Kang beat Goro, I think, more than once, but definitely once. He's beaten Shang Tsung a couple times. He's beaten Shao Kahn twice, which is like a really big deal, because Shao Kahn is maybe the strongest character in lore. Technically, officially, I guess the strongest character in lore is probably... The strongest single character in lore is probably Onaga. But then, Shao Kahn has beaten Onaga one-on-one twice. It's probably Shao Kahn. The single strongest character. He's the one who won the Armageddon tournament canonically. And he fought some pretty tough people to get there. Exciting he's coming back. Shao Kahn's the guy who initially like killed slash imprisoned Onaga. Probably. We don't actually know. Shao Kahn was Onaga's advisor, and then something happened, and then Shao Kahn was ruling, and Onaga was dead. And from what we know, Shao Kahn was probably some variety of betrayal. He also 1v1s Onaga at some point during Armageddon, and wins. Elder Gods are actually not that strong. Shinnok isn't a jobber, but he's not like incredible. It's part of the lore that the regular gods are stronger than the Elder Gods in terms of combat potential. The Elder Gods just have more like reality-altering abilities. But they made the gods because... They made like the regular gods like Raiden because they're supposed to be like better for fighting. They're like specialized in it. It's like, okay, I'll make someone who literally exists to fight and have them fight. So I don't have to. I think there's going to be an Elder God in this latest MK, right? This bald lady. Raiden's supposed to be stronger than most, if not all, of the Elder Gods in terms of, like, battle. By Raicho is just a man. Of abnormal fighting capabilities. Same with Liu Kang. Ooh. Tricky, tricky. I don't know if I dislike it. It depends on what they do with it. Kotal was shown to be not super duper strong. If that's canon, then I like it. But if it's not canon, then I don't like it. Oh, Shao Kahn poisoned Onaga? Easy peasy. He was the one who betrayed it. I forgot. I don't remember that. The Centaur. Motaro. He'll probably not come back, but I kind of would like him. That's not my mouse. Johnny Cage being actually strong has been canon since the very first game. It was also canon in the movie. Kintaro was the tiger one. Raiden's had some questionable plays in the past, if you know what I mean. I think his MK, it was either MK1 or MK2, his ending is to destroy Earth. It's like, I'm tired of saving this realm, I'm just gonna kill it, and everyone in it. That was non-canon, but, you know, at the same time, it's like, what the fuck? Why'd they write that? Kung Jin beats Kotal Khan by himself about halfway through the story, or like pretty early in the story, I think, for MKX. And Kung Jin is probably pretty strong. I don't know if he's supposed to be at the level of... They don't show, so we don't know. I don't know if he's supposed to be at the same level as like Liu Kang or Kung Lao. But it wouldn't be unreasonable to say yes, probably. Or if he's not at that level, he's probably not super duper far away, you know? Whatever. Whatever. Kung Jin can be strong. I'm willing to accept that. But then Kotal Khan and then like all the rest of the Kotal Rangers get held off for a pretty long time by like Jackie plus an injured Takeda. Oh, very nice. And that's like the most bullshit part of the entire story. But you don't see it because it's like Kung Jin and Cassie go inside or whatever. But it's just like, what the fuck? Jax is strong for a man. Same with Sonya Blade. Except, you know, a woman. They're strong for humans. All that was the reason SA1 sucks. I'm willing to excuse Sindel a little bit. It was bad writing, but at the same time, it was like a lot of people forget that it wasn't just Sindel. It was Sindel with all of the powers that normally Shang Tsung has. It was her empowered by souls. There are a lot of weaklings in the MK lore. Most of the clans are like weaklings compared to most characters. There's no lore whatsoever on whether Shang Tsung's a human. It's actually one of the longest running questions of the series. Outworld has humans. Kano gets jobbed a lot, or he jobs a lot rather. He hasn't done anything really meaningful. He's like maybe beaten like other clans here and there. He's maybe beaten like Movado or something. I can't. Yeah, like all the fucking Red Dragon and Black Dragon clans are just nobodies. Reptile's a jobber. Reptile. The thing is, Reptile's strategy is whenever the going gets tough, he runs away. That's been the consistent thing of his character. If there's ever a threat of death, he just bounces. The most important thing to Reptile is that his species doesn't go extinct, and he's maybe the last male. So he's just like, okay, bye. They talk about that a lot in the MKX comics. He's considered valuable because he's a good spy, because in the games he can turn invisible like a little bit, and it's not super duper invisible unless you EX it. But in the lore, he can just turn fully invisible for as long as he wants to. So he's supposed to be like, you know, about as good of a spy as you can get. Baraka is supposed to be strong for a Tarkatan. One of the strongest Tarkatans. And Tarkatans are supposed to be like humans, but with arm blades. They don't seem to be stronger than regular humans. Baraka has only ever jobbed. He's only ever lost. He's like never beaten anyone. There are a few characters where that's true. Melina fucks Baraka because he's respected among the Tarkatans, and she needs that kind of... Because he's a general, basically. Melina fucks other generals too. She fucks Reiko. Reiko's a general. Melina uses her pussy to get what she wants. That's canon. It's canon that Melina has slept with both Reiko and Baraka. Jade is probably weaker than most characters. She's a bodyguard, so it sounds like she should probably be strong. But she's just one person and she's a woman. She's a Denian. I don't remember how strong the Adenians are supposed to be. Ex Melina. For both. It might be the same person. We don't actually have official confirmation on that. It's canon that there were a bunch of Melinas running around. The list of Adenians is really short. It's supposed to be the smallest realm. Right, nice super. Tanya, Jade, Sindel, Kitana. Technically Melina because she's a clone. She's supposed to be like half Tarkatan, half... I don't even know half Tarkatan. It depends on whether Shao Kahn's Tarkatan, which is not really clear. Technically speaking, the biggest realm in Mortal Kombat is the Nether Realm, which is, air quotes, infinite in size. Their lore. And the next biggest is Outworld, which is just really fucking big. And the next biggest is Earth, but it's called Earthrealm, but it's actually like the entire observable universe that we live in. So I guess it's like, you know, fucking Milky Way plus. Fucking, I don't know. I think Earthrealm is like the next biggest after Outworld. Adenia is the tiniest. I don't know about Order and Chaos Realms. I wonder if they'll come back for this next game. Outworld is more of a more of an ethnicity kind of thing than a species kind of thing. Some Outworlders are humans, some are Tarkatans, and there's others, I presume. The bee lady Devora is Outworlder, technically, but she's got her own species in addition to that. Outworld's not such a bad place. A lot of it looks alright. The people don't seem to suffer that much. Mortal Kombat's got a lot of grimdark, but when they're not pulling the grimdark like crazy, Outworld just basically seems like more Earth. Shao Kahn is not especially evil. He'll just, well, he's evil in the sense that he'll do whatever he needs to do to get stronger, which is, you could say that's extremely evil. But he won't just kill someone because he wants to. He usually has like a motivation. Well, maybe he'll kill someone because he wants to. He doesn't. He has like a disregard for human life, but he's not just literally like I'm gonna kill as many people as I can for no reason. He's mostly just a conqueror. In the Mortal Kombat universe, Outworld is much more primitive than Earth. But it's not that Outworld is primitive. They're like feudal. They're like almost modern. It's that Earth is super advanced in the Mortal Kombat universe. The Earth in Mortal Kombat is more technologically advanced than it is in the real world. They have like a little technology in Outworld, but they don't have guns or anything. Guns are like an Earth invention. And guns are really nutty. Even in the Mortal Kombat universe, like a human with a gun is significantly stronger than like a Tarkan. You actually see that in MK9, but it's like been fairly true for all the series, which is why the special forces are actually okay. Look at that mouse. Oh, they have magic in Outworld though. For the most part, Earth doesn't have magic. But also, they've never really been super clear on what the fuck magic is or how it works in Mortal Kombat. It's just some characters are mages, and that's that. Some characters can use magic. And it seems to be more based on the character than the race or the species or whatever. A really big plot point. The entire purpose of Kano is basically that a Tarkatan with a gun is more dangerous than a Tarkatan without a gun. The entire premise of the clans is that Outworld has been doing arms deals with Earthrealm because Earthrealm has hyper advanced technology compared to Outworld. So it's literally like, hey Kano, can we buy rocket launchers from you, please? Shang Tsung's pretty tough, but Shang Tsung fucking with an army of Tarkatans with rocket launchers is even tougher. It's like someone's trying to leave that mouse on screen. Remember when Baraka got cut in half and then stapled back together? I'm still reeling that that happened. Like, what the fuck? So MK3, I don't even remember what game that was. MK4. Very nice parry. That's a harder parry than it looks. The Mortal Kombat games basically treat fatalities like non-canon. There are very few deaths per MK game, usually. This is Exodus. I play against him every now and then. I just realized that. It's kind of notable being a character who canon died between games. Like how Johnny Cage canon dies to the fucking after 3, I think? Or after 2. Or how Sub-Zero and MK1 canon dies. Exodus took a trip to Japan for Co-op Cup, and this is like within the week afterward. Baraka's just Worf. He just exists to show off that another character is strong. It's like, oh my god, he beat Baraka. He's Toad. He represents his entire species. He's simultaneously a character plus a species. At the time, he was super interesting. When they first introduced him, it's like, look at this menacing monster character. Every fighting game has a monster character. Baraka's not too bad. But then it's literally like, hey, remember Baraka? There's like millions of them. But Raichao is like a literal mastered fucking martial artist. There's nothing more to his lore than that. Reptile's cool. He's one of my favorite. He actually probably is my favorite in terms of personality. He's a character with good motivations. He's like actually a pretty interesting and developed character. And they're fairly internally consistent with him. One of the pre-battle intros for MKX for Reptile is Raiden calling him Sizoth. And Reptile's little fucking, you know my true name. I thought that was cute. Reptile's only ever been referred to by his code name for the whole series. And Raiden is maybe omniscient and just name drops him. It's like, oh hey Sizoth. It's kind of funny. Shaolin Magic. Nice parry. It takes balls to be ready for that kind of delayed parry. Oh, punish this. That fireball was negative edge for my super input. Why isn't he always a dragon? That just, I mean, it is canon that people can turn into, that he can turn into a dragon. But that just raises questions on like what the hell's going on with all the animalities, which I think are non-canon. Babalities are also probably not canon. Ironically, friendships probably are canon. But probably not in the way that they're shown to us. My best guess is that Liu Kang is somehow more dangerous as a man than a dragon. Which I can maybe believe given how perfect he is at using his fucking man body. I don't remember if they addressed whether he's stronger or weaker as a cyborg. That's a good question. He says he hated being a cyborg, but that's pretty much all the comparison we get. Oh, that was supposed to go into a DP. Yeah, how could his dragon form throw a punch? His tiny ass arms. Very nice. I'm somewhat willing to accept that Katana just has a pretty manly jaw. And that's that. It's just her face. Whatever, she's an alien. She doesn't have to look like a human. Well, she's not an alien, but she's an alien. She might as well be an alien. Same difference, really. Terrible screen position for a follow-up. Outside the corner, but outside the other corner. I remember people in MK9 saying that Shiva was the most attractive woman in the game, which was pretty funny. I remember thinking that Sonya Blade looked pretty gross in MK9. The other characters I didn't think were so bad. But I really didn't like Sonya's face. Injustice had uglier women. Wonder Woman in Injustice 1 and Raven in Injustice 1 were pretty ugly. But to be honest, Raven kind of is ugly. So I'm willing to excuse them a little bit for that one. She was like relatively on model. But Wonder Woman was even... She was not very attractive. I have mixed feelings about the entire thing. I feel like people kind of flip out if there's an ugly woman in anything. But like, I feel like you should be able to have an ugly woman without it being a mistake. But I think it was a mistake in Injustice. I think they didn't mean to make ugly women as the thing. But I feel like that I've seen a lot of games where someone's just ugly, and it's like, you know, redesign this. How dare you? How did they fuck up this design this badly? She's ugly. He's ugly. I've heard that from men too. Oh, remember Subnautica? You can't even discuss that game without the main character fucking... the player character being brought up. La Creatura, exactly. Creatura. Oh, that demon. Very interesting. Ooh. Classic Tominaga play right there. Hope he doesn't lose because of that. He had a combo out of that dive kick. Okay. I guess NRS games have some moderately hot dudes. Both Johnny and Dad Johnny are both pretty great. Most of the men are okay, I think. I don't know. Okay in my book. It's not for any social justice reason that I'm saying that women should be allowed to be ugly. For the record. I feel like whenever I say that, someone's gonna assume that. I just want more fucking variety in female characters the way there's a lot of variety in male character designs. Women can only be designed a certain way in most games, I feel. And it makes them kind of uninteresting. You can definitely see that like people don't have as much freedom when trying to fucking make a female design as a male design. More tomboys would be okay. Women are inherently uninteresting. Makoto's quite unique, but people know that. She's a good offbeat woman. Oh whoa, what's this? It's the wrong aspect ratio. Look at it. You can see everything. Hold on, let me try again. What if I did this? Look, it's an Armika player. That's pretty unusual. You can watch this game for a long time and never see Armika. X Soccer is pretty neat because she can chain her lights into her heavy. And if she does, she gets pretty fucking high damage. And a really high stun. You can also use that to confirm either her Shokin, which combos at all ranges from everything, or her super, which is pretty also strong. And also because she's X Sakura, she has really high fucking damage and guard bar. X is almost always like the worst variation for characters in this game. That's a command grab with long range and bad startup. But X Soccer is one of the best X characters. I'm going to have a character in my video game who's very not traditionally attractive. But I'm hoping that people will find her hot anyway. But it's not super important to me if people find her hot or not. You know what I mean? I want it to be like a player taste thing. I want her to be hot if you're into that. You could call her a tomboy. You could call her that. Tomboy is a word that you could use on her. I will have a chubby character in my game too, but she will be more traditionally attractive apart from the chubbiness. I'm gonna go for attractive chubby, if you know what I mean. People with penises should know what I mean. She'll probably be a little step above thick. Yeah, maybe a fourth C. She'll probably be a little step below BBW. She'll probably be realistic fat. Remember My Hero Academia? Remember what's his face? Midoriya's mom. If she ended up looking fat like that, I'd be happy. She will not be a snail. But she'll be like hot apart from the fatness. Ideally. Ah! Jump in Visum activated is the most bullshit in the universe. Look how little fireballs. Sakura's eating 2 fireballs. If you get hit by a fireball from far away, it does the same damage as if you fucking block it. I've been alright. The character who will be more traditionally attractive in my game will be in her mid-30s. Probably her young 30s. So she won't exactly be like a fucking spring chicken. I'm getting better at Game Maker. I've done a lot since like a week ago. What I know has like multiplied by 100 in the last week. It's a platformer. There will be a spring chicken. The main character's a spring chicken. She's 19. No, I'm that guy too. People who don't only watch anime do deserve the spoilers they get. That being said, this is a no spoiler stream. How to make a fighting game engine? No. I have good ideas of how I'd make my fighting game engine outside of programming, but when it comes to programming, I know nothing at all. I kind of know how Street Fighter parses inputs. I kind of know how hitboxes work. But if I had to actually do it, ugh. All the people said they didn't like fucking what's her face, the lady who smokes from DMC5. They didn't like her design, or they thought she wasn't hot or whatever. But I thought she was hot. I should beat DMC4 before 5 comes out. Yeah, Nico. I got a pretty wide strike zone, to be honest. I feel like a lot of different body types can be hot. I think all the women in DMC are pretty hot. You're always a nice church boy. Ooh. That's alpha, dude. This is alpha. You want to know what alpha is? It's this. I feel like I see this a lot in alpha, and I never see it in any other SF game. I guess I see it in SF2. You get the fattest punish in the universe, and you get fucking sweet. That's one of the reasons I find alpha to not be very satisfying to watch compared to other SFs. Because of that bullshit. The neutral is very interesting in alpha. The combos can be interesting. And scenarios like that, often the punishes and whatnot, or how punishes come to be, how unsafety comes to be, is often not very interesting. I know that was partially a Chun-Li problem as well, but you see that for a lot of characters. You see cancels a lot in neutral in this game, but you don't actually see cancels a whole lot in punishes. Here we go, look at this! This is another one of the reasons that Alpha 3 is kind of silly. This is a crouch cancel infinite. So I got crouches for one or a couple frames every single jump. Because he crouches, he never returns to neutral. And because he never returns to neutral, Mika never regains the ability to tech flip. I feel like third strike, it can. It depends on how the scenario comes to be. That's what I like about it. Oh, he dropped it. Sometimes you'll see normal, special, super. Sometimes you'll see just like a normal or just a special. Or whatever. Sometimes you'll see no punish. It depends on, what happened to get there. This game you can't even do normal, special, super, but rarely do you even see, like, normal, special. Rarely do you even see an optimal punish. But that's partially because a lot of the unsafe stuff is unsafe but really far away. Boing, boing, boing. Most characters need to diagonally jump here. Sagata is one of very few who can neutral jump and do it. I shouldn't say very few. Most characters don't have a crouch cancel infinite at all. I shouldn't say most. It's like half and half, I think. He just activated because he doesn't need his meter anymore and it makes her easier to juggle. And then he dropped it. But Mika probably had no escape for that, to be honest. Especially because it's Mika. Alpha 3 has a lot of borderline anime stuff and a lot of borderline Kusoge stuff. but also a lot of really strong stuff. A lot of people say that Alpha is their favorite of all the neutral in all the games, and I kind of see that, even though I don't think it. The neutral is really strong. It's built on like the exact opposite design philosophy of SF5. In SF5, it's super hard to have like a sliding sweep be safe. In Alpha, it's like super hard for a sliding sweep to not be safe. You know what I mean? It seems like everything is safe in this game, unless you really do something nutty like obviously DPs. But it has to. If it's a jab DP, you have to be pretty close to them. Spacing something to be safe is just really easy in this game. For like everything that can be spaced to be safe, it doesn't even require any good spacing. And the way you can approach, the way the air blocking works is pretty cool. It's not like super restrictive. It makes jumping a bit better of an idea than it is in most Street Fighter games. The damage is pretty low too, except for fucking whenever meteor comes into the picture. So the matches end up being quite long. You can't just air block willy-nilly. You can only air block air attacks. Yeah, it feels like this game, it's usually the guy who's better neutral wins. But then you get random activates in neutral, which kind of are just ridiculous in a game with an infinite off of random activate, or off of the random activate hitting. Ugh. That's how it is. But I don't know why everyone says that. It's like whenever anyone talks about like air blocking another fighting game, it's like, oh my god, you shouldn't be able to do that. And then you have games like fucking Marvel where everyone just turns a blind eye. I've never heard anyone. People, when they complain about Marvel, they have a lot of complaints. Like, fucking, it's too crazy. I understand that. I'll put my thumb up. Sure. You can not like Marvel. I don't like a lot of the Marvel games because they're too crazy. If someone doesn't like Marvel, that's on them, and I appreciate that. But I feel like I never ever hear anyone say Marvel's bullshit because you can air block. But you can. You can air block everything. People just treat it like it's a whole new fucking factor of approach, which I appreciate. Look at that combo. That was nice. Picking up juggles in this game is it's kind of technical. Basically, once the opponent hits the corner, they can only be juggled like once more. It's something like that. Then they become immune to juggling. But there's a trick to it as well. It won't. They'll never become immune to juggling if Vism is up. Look at that. You can OTG with a command grab if you're in Vism, if you're activated. So you knock the opponent over and then you command grab them while they're knocked over. That's how most command grab characters end their custom combos. It depends on the character. Kareen can start combos with a command grab. I'm pretty lenient about the way how jumps can work. I wouldn't say I was in favor of anti-air jabs. I didn't care for the most part. I like the meme about it. I like to, whenever I got anti-aired by Chun-Li staying short, which happened quite a lot, I'd be like, oh, Chun-Li staying short, blah, 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 like that. I'd make that noise. Oh, she gets a mix-up. But, like, I thought it was correct when people anti-air short or anti-air jabbed. I was like, oh, you get a mix-up off of that. I didn't think it was a bullshit mechanic. I just thought it was smart. Technically, anti-air jabbing is a pretty big part of third strike. but it's for completely different reasons than SF5. The thing is, anti-air jabs in Third Strike are bad in terms of the fact of hitboxes. They'll lose to air attacks, so they're really risky. But they'll also be effectively unparryable for most characters, because if the opponent parries your anti-air jab, you can just jab again, and you can do that forever. That's a good question. I have no good answer for it. Light normals are abnormally weak in Third Strike, and it really makes no sense. Like, they're really weak. Light normals in Third Strike do the equivalent of like 5 damage in Street Fighter 5. They're like really, really weak. It would take a lot of fucking lights to kill someone. They do like a tick damage worth of damage. Like chip. They do like chip worth. They do like the smallest amount of damage the game will register. Anyway, the only thing I hate about jump-ins in any game is if they're inconsistent. If it's like some character has no anti-air at all, but other characters can literally just shut down the entire... And I don't even really mind that if it's inconsistent, as long as it's inconsistent in a fair way. I'm okay with a character having shitty anti-air if they're good at other stuff. But for a game like SF4 or SF5, I really feel like if some characters have perfect anti-airs, probably everyone should have perfect anti-airs. With like very little... There's no one good enough on the ground to justify the complete inability to anti-air in SF4 or SF5. You would need some anime levels of like ground control in order to have no anti-air, because jumps are too rewarding in those games. Certain characters being able to dodge it and other ones not being able to dodge it. It ends up being really silly for the characters with shit anti-airs. SF4 had some characters who couldn't anti-air well. I guess it still has some... It still has characters who can't anti-air well, but everyone has something they can do. Some characters it's just pretty shitty. In older versions, there were some characters who didn't really have anything good to do. When Hakam was introduced, his only good anti-air was meet the mid-air with an air throw, which is pretty bad. But now he's got like 3 anti-air normals, so it's okay, or 2, I think. That aren't too bad. They're still like below... He's still below average, but he's functional. You could anti-air Ultra 2 since he was introduced as well, but you know, it's pretty obvious when you have that and when you don't. Lariat's nutty in this game. Whatever weird bullshit that fucking Sakurai believes, I mean, not MK. Smash Ultimate is a pretty great game in my opinion. I'm enjoying watching it and playing it. I actually like watching it about as much as I like watching Melee. Probably more than I like watching Melee. I didn't know that. Smash ball on items. I don't like the sound of that. The thing is, items do add a big level of ability to showing skill. But, just, you know, if items are worthless, it doesn't fucking matter. And if items are good, then there's going to be a huge component of, like, you know, how lucky were you on item spawns. I like the components of, like, reflecting stuff or catching stuff that's thrown at you and whatnot. Yeah, they definitely hurt balance. I didn't mean to say they make balance better. Obviously, like, Ganondorf has a harder time getting items than fucking Fox does. The presence of items adds new ways for people to show off. Adds new ways to show, like, to demonstrate skill. But it definitely hurts balance. And it also definitely uh, hurts. It adds randomness. Adding randomness is really bad, and hurting balance is pretty bad. The sheer randomness of just a Pokeball. It's like, where does it spawn, so who can get to it first? Fucking when you throw it, what comes out. That's the Katobi cancel! Look at it! Geefs is the best in the game. This is towards Fierce. We saw this earlier. This is towards Fierce Karad into a activate. Towards Fierce is his little hopping headbutt. And whenever he does that, he keeps his upward and downward momentum of the towards Fierce. The tiny little hop and then the gravity. But he does that all the way across the screen because the speed is modified by the fucking activate. And also he's invincible for the whole thing if he's got 100% charge. 100% meter. Geef can literally, like, hop all the fucking way across the screen and get a jump-in combo on you. Geef is top tier in this game. That's a super hard question to answer. It's probably something to do with depth. Depth probably has a lot to do with staying power. New shit is still being found in Third Strike, even at a semi-regular level. People are still improving. People are still so far from the ceiling, but improving so regularly. It's just the way parries work. You've always got room to keep going up. No one's even close to the level of optimal parrying. And I don't just mean parrying everything that comes at you, because that's like impossible. But parrying everything reactable that comes at you, that is possible. And no one's there. No one's even close. Imagine if every single person who ever blocked the Ken back medium kick red parried the second hit. I think both games are mostly just alive in Japanese arcades. And that's what we're looking at here. This is modern footage of this game. Same as the fucking the Third Strike footage I normally watch. There's probably more interest in Third Strike. I think that's probably fair. Moment 37 probably was a really big part of it. And yeah, Alpha 3 is pretty dead online, and Alpha 2 is even more dead. 3 is the more alive one of them. I don't know, I haven't checked recently. I can see that Too Old, Too Furious might have actually caused a resurgence in Alpha 2. Ultra David was an Alpha 3 player. He's a Third Strike player too. He was one of the more notable USA geefs in Alpha 3. He played Q, I believe, in Third Strike. He likes those awkward characters. Those big bodies. Alpha 3 is usually seen as more technical than 2, I think. And also, I think people like the neutral a bit better. Or they did anyway, I don't know about anymore. Um, the idea that 2 is better than 3 is a pretty new idea. There have been like a couple people. I think John Choi. Maybe Vi. Vi likes both, I think. Vi's more famous for... I don't know. He was a really big player of 2 and 3. There's a technique named after Vi in 2. Yeah. The Vi custom combo. It was mostly fringe opinions that um, Alpha 2 was better than 3 until pretty recently. That was nice. But yeah, the Too Old Too Furious like completely brought attention to 2 in a way that I don't think existed before. The idea of playing that was like the idea of playing Second Impact. Like Second Impact now is what Alpha 2 used to be. It's like, well, it was different and that's interesting. But why would you go back and play it? That's what people used to think. But then, the thing is the differences are actually pretty interesting. So it's not like Alpha's just Alpha 2 is some Kusoge. It's actually pretty. It's got a lot of stuff that's not a lot of things over 3. I don't think this is a true infinite for Rose, but I could be wrong. For a lot of characters, it's not a true infinite. Actually, that looked like it was because he got enough meter for another activate. Another activate will always leave them at the highest possible height. Rose is kind of weird because she has the ability to do custom combos with her AISM too. Well, I got a host. Remember Rose in Alpha 2? Alpha 2 only had like 12 characters, didn't it? Pretty tiny roster. Ooh, the Kotobi cancel. Oh, but Second Impact doesn't have really much anything over Third Strike regarding gameplay that I'm aware of. I'm just saying it was regarded the same way. 18. Okay, that's a lot more. 18 is a lot more than 12. Was it Alpha 1 that had 12? Probably. That was like a manual host, I thought. I always heard people say Alpha 1 was a meme. I played it once. On Super Nintendo, I think. So not only was it Alpha 1, it was a console port of Alpha 1. But not recently.